In this video, we'll talk about the stages a dismissive avoidant goes through during no contact. I'll also share with you how those stages might be different depending on their investment and depending on how things ended. And definitely stick around to the end of the video where we'll talk about when they're most likely to reach out. Hi, I'm Katya Morozova. I'm a personal and relationship coach, and I help people overcome heartbreak. I help them become secure in their relationships using the wisdom of attachment theory. If that sounds interesting to you, then definitely subscribe to my channel. I think something that's rarely talked about in videos on no contact is the amount of investment that an avoidant partner had in their partner and in their relationship. So depending on how invested your partner was will likely lead to the amount of adverse reaction, yearning, and distress they'll have when they're no longer with you. Now, for obvious reasons, I can't assess how invested your specific partner was within you in a video that's geared towards the general public. So if you'd like a personalized assessment, you can book a one-on-one coaching session with me on my website at katyamorozova.me. So what's important for the stages that a dismissive avoidant might go through during no contact is the underlying reason for the breakup. So for instance, did your partner want the breakup? Was your relationship on the way out and maybe your partner was even sabotaging your relationship and then you ended it with them? Or was your partner blindsided by the breakup and the breakup really hurt them? These are all important things to consider when trying to assess the stages that a dismissive avoidant goes through after a breakup. Not every person with a dismissive avoidant attachment style goes through a certain set of feelings and experiences after a relationship ends. Each human being is unique, and an attachment style is general and does not predict one person's behaviors and internal world. So for the purpose of this video, let's assume that the dismissive avoidant ex broke up with you, but they were also invested in the relationship. The first stage a dismissive avoidant goes through in this case would be some sort of relief, possibly coupled with a little bit of confusion. They may have broken up with you out of a reactive place. Maybe they really needed space, or they were feeling unheard or smothered in the relationship. So naturally, they broke up with you out of some kind of reaction or out of a trigger, or maybe there was a persistent disagreement in the relationship that wasn't getting resolved, and they were getting fed up or feeling the relationship was hopeless. So the avoidant will feel a sense of relief from the tension they were experiencing in the relationship. Relief will often be coupled with a sense of freedom, like a person who just quit a stressful job and isn't yet concerned with where they're going to find the next one yet, or the impact of not having a job on them. Instead, they're going to be relishing their new reality where they feel unburdened from responsibility and conflict or the tension that I mentioned. At this stage, they're likely not going to be preoccupied with thoughts about their relationship. They'll be too busy reorienting to their own life. After experiencing relief from the relationship's end, the individual may enter the next emotional stage, which is often accompanied by feelings of righteousness, numbness, or denial. So for instance, a common reason for an avoidant person to initiate a breakup is when they encounter a situation that closely resembles their past trauma pattern. If they haven't addressed their triggers and emotional wounds, they may feel justified in their decision to end the relationship. Even if their understanding of the events is clouded by a lack of insight into their own internal world and a struggle with accurate self-reflection. They likely won't think about your relationship at this stage either because they'll feel validated in their decision and believe that they made the right choice. So they'll instead focus their efforts and energy back on their own life. This stage is a tough one because for some avoidants, they never really reconsider another perspective to what happened. They just stay in the stage for quite a long time. Now, not all avoidants are like this, but the ones who have the most limited capacity for self-reflection and who harbor some of the deepest wounds and therefore are fearful of reflecting are. If an avoidant comes out of the denial stage, they don't immediately go into grieving or trying to reconnect. Depending on how much work the avoidant has done on themselves will greatly determine the length of the stage between denial and acknowledgement. And when I say acknowledgement, I mean fruitful self-reflection or self-blame, which is distinct from self-reflection. Why do I say self-blame versus self-reflection? Well, I think this is an important distinction. So at this stage, the dismissive avoidant may enter a period of self-blame rather than genuine self-reflection. Self-blame involves the avoidance of facing deeper emotions and past traumas, as it allows the avoidant to maintain a sense of control over their emotions. Instead of confronting the real issues, they internalize guilt and may see themselves as fundamentally flawed or incapable of sustaining a healthy relationship. During this phase, it's crucial to understand that self-blame is not the same as self-reflection. Self-reflection involves a deeper exploration of a person's emotional landscape, their past experiences, their attachment patterns, which is essential for personal growth and transformation. And now, in contrast, self-blame only reinforces their avoidance of emotional vulnerability. Now, let's talk about another critical stage that the dismissive avoidant may go through after the breakup, and that is the longing for independence. Avoidants are fiercely independent individuals, and being in a relationship might have felt restricting for them, no matter how invested they were. So after the initial stages of relief and denial, they might start to cherish their newly found independence and freedom. They'll likely immerse themselves in personal pursuits, hobbies, or even new relationships that reaffirm their sense of self-sufficiency. This phase will typically be marked by a notable absence of thoughts about the previous relationship. They may even appear to have moved on effortlessly, causing confusion and hurt for the partner that was left behind. However, it's essential to recognize that this detachment is often a coping mechanism to shield themselves from the pain and vulnerability of emotional intimacy. Now, as time goes on, the avoidant might find themselves confronted with moments of nostalgia and memories of the past relationship with you. And in these instances, it can trigger a sense of loss and longing. However, a common coping strategy for avoidance is compartmentalizing emotions, and it's possible that they may quickly dismiss or suppress these feelings, avoiding any emotional confrontation. Now, if the dismissive avoidant has done significant inner work or has experienced personal growth during their period of independence, they may reach a stage of genuine self-awareness and acknowledgement. And if that's the case, in this phase, they can come to terms with their attachment patterns, past traumas, and emotional avoidance. It's during this period that they may finally grasp the impact their behavior had on their relationship and their partner's emotions. At this point, they might experience deep regret and remorse for their actions, wishing they could have been more emotionally available and supportive in the relationship. But remember, unfortunately, not all avoidance and really not all people reach this level of self-awareness after a relationship ends. as it requires courage and vulnerability to explore and address their emotional wounds. Finally, it's important to note that if the avoidant ex-partner reaches the stages of self-reflection, nostalgia, and acknowledgement, it's at this stage that an avoidant could be open to reconnecting with you. Again, please understand that these stages vary from person to person and from situation to situation. Now, there are some things I've reassessed about this stage since making previous videos. It's likely that at this stage, the avoidant might send you nudges like a short message to test the waters, or a sticker or a meme or something that's low committal to see if you're open to engaging with them. If they remember that they hurt you, they might assume that you're no longer interested in speaking with them, or that you may even be still angry with them. So instead of going full steam ahead and opening up a conversation, what they'll do is they'll test the waters to see how open and reciprocating you are today. It's up to you at this stage whether you want to open up to them or if you would like to close that door forever. And remember, just because an avoidant is pinging you doesn't mean that they are ready to jump back into a relationship with you. Remember, avoidants are okay with moving slowly and just testing the waters without assuming it's going to lead to anything. If you're watching this video and you've had an avoidant partner test the waters with you and you'd like to share with the other viewers what they said or did, please feel free to share it in the comments below, as it might be helpful for other people watching this video. Would you like to know how to assess if your avoidance low investment signals are a genuine bid for reconnection, or if they're just bored or trying to be friends? Do you want to know how to respond to them while maintaining your boundaries and protecting your heart? Or if you should respond based on where you are mentally and emotionally today? If your anxiety is clouding your judgment about what to do and you'd like to get clarity, then I recommend that you book a one-on-one coaching session with me where we can both create a communication strategy that you feel comfortable and confident in, and we can even explore where you are mentally and emotionally to see if it's even a good idea to engage after all. Finally, I'll happily give you feedback about what I think is going on with your DA based on how they're communicating with you and based on your last few communications that you provide me. If that sounds good to you, then you can go ahead and book a session with me using the link in the description or the comments, or you can book that session on my website. Did you like this video? If you did, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you want to watch more videos like this one. Next up is my video on reasons that no contact works with the dismissive avoidant. You can watch that video right up here.